I never thought I'd learn what betrayal felt like in the very place I believed I was safest. My name is Ryan, and I had been engaged to Emily for almost 3 years. On the surface, our life looked flawless. Friends admired us, our families adored us, and even strangers commented on how perfectly we fit together. But perfection is just a mask, and beneath it, truths hide until the moment they tear everything apart. It began on a quiet Sunday afternoon. Emily had gone out to see her friends, and I stayed home, straightening up the apartment before Monday rolled in. For weeks, something had been bothering me, small changes in her behavior that I tried to brush aside. She had grown strangely protective of her phone, spent long hours locked in her study, and would slam her laptop shut the second I walked by. At first, I blamed stress or her need for space, but my instincts whispered a different story. One I could no longer ignore. I opened her laptop not because I wanted to invade her privacy, but because something deep inside insisted that I needed answers. It was already logged in, sitting there almost too conveniently. I paused, reminding myself that trust is supposed to be the foundation of a relationship, but hesitation quickly dissolved into one click, and everything I believed disintegrated. Emails, messages, photos tucked away in cleverly labeled folders revealed an ongoing affair. Organized, intentional, inarguable. The man she was seeing was someone from work. Someone she assumed I'd never suspect. Shock and disbelief slammed into me at once. I reread one message where she called him my escape and promised to meet him on a day she told me she was spending with me. Anger flared, but so did a strange, cold, steady clarity. This wasn't just cheating, it was a crafted deception, skillfully built so I wouldn't see it coming. And now, the proof was right in front of me, unmistakable and complete. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the screen. Caught between heartbreak and determination. The woman I thought I knew, the one I imagined spending my life with, had been living a lie. Part of me wanted to confront her immediately, to demand answers, but the clearer part knew that confrontation alone wouldn't be enough. This wasn't just between us anymore. It was a truth that had to be revealed to the people who had raised her, who trusted me to become part of their family. Emily's parents deserved to know. Once they did, there would be no going back. Exposing the truth would sever every tie we had, and I knew I would have to vanish from her life entirely if I wanted to salvage any piece of myself. The next day, I drove to her parents' house with my laptop, my silent witness to everything she had done. My hands didn't shake, but my chest felt heavy under the weight of what I was about to reveal. I had rehearsed the words over and over, but none of them seemed enough for the magnitude of the betrayal. Her father opened the door, surprise flashing across his face before curiosity settled in. Her mother came up behind him, warm, smiling, unaware that their daughter's perfect image was about to crumble. I didn't accuse her of anything. Instead, I told them I had something they needed to see. In their living room. I opened the laptop, navigated to the hidden folders, and let the evidence speak on its own. Messages, photos, emails, every detail laid out plainly. Their expressions shifted from confusion to disbelief, then to heartbreak. Her father's hands tightened around the arm of his chair. Her mother's eyes filled with tears, staring past me as if trying to piece together how their daughter had hidden all this. You need to see this, I said quietly, my tone steady. This isn't a misunderstanding. It's been happening for months. They watched in stunned silence as the truth unraveled. Every lie she'd built, every secret she'd guarded, now exposed. The betrayal hadn't only been mine, they had unknowingly been pulled into it as well, trusting her just as I had. And now the truth was undeniable. After what felt like hours. Her mother finally whispered, I can't believe she did this. Her voice broke under the weight of it. I nodded, feeling the same heaviness. Emily had taken so much for granted, my trust, her parents' love, the stability we had built, and still chose to live a double life. I left their home knowing my part was done. Telling them wasn't about revenge, it was about truth. And now that truth belonged to all of us. But the final step was mine alone, to disappear from her life completely. To reclaim my sanity by removing myself from the very world she had poisoned. As I walked to my car, I felt an odd mix of relief and emptiness. I had done what needed to be done, yet the consequences were real. The woman I loved or thought I loved was no longer part of my future. Her parents knew the truth, and soon she would realize her web of lies had collapsed. That evening, back at the apartment, I began packing. Only essentials. This wasn't an escape, it was a departure from a life that no longer existed. Each item I touched brought back memories now tainted by deceit. I paused at a photo on my bedside table, less smiling at the beach last summer. The memory stung, but it also strengthened my resolve. That version of my life was gone. Asterisk before I left. I sent Emily one final message, short and controlled. Asterisk, I told your parents everything. Don't contact me. You won't be able to find me. Asterisk, no explanations. No blamin', no playas. The words were final boundaries she had crossed too many times. Asterisk, I knew she would panic. She'd reach for excuses, tears, apologies, but none of it mattered now. Her choices had consequences. And I refused to stand in the wreckage any longer. Asterisk, driving through the city that night, I felt something settle inside me. Anger slipped away, replaced by a heavier, truer feeling. Freedom. Trust, once broken, never returns to what it was. I had given her everything, my loyalty, my honesty, my love, and she had thrown it away, asterisk, by walking away. I was reclaiming what was mine, my dignity, my peace, my future. Asterisk, every mile between us was a step toward healing, a step toward understanding that some people come into our lives as lessons, not partners. I didn't look back. I didn't check my phone. I didn't glance at the building as I drove away. The relationship, the shared dreams, the promises, it was all behind me now. Asterisk, betrayal leaves scars, but it also offers clarity. When you finally walk away from a lie, the world looks different. You realize the people who hurt you don't define your value or your direction, unless you let them. Asterisk, by the time morning light crept over the horizon, I was already far from the city. I didn't have a destination, just a direction. Emily's betrayal had been a turning point, one that could have destroyed me. Instead, I chose to leave it behind, to walk away from the lies, carrying only the lessons and the truth that sometimes the most painful revelations are the ones that set you free. Asterisk, and in that freedom, I felt alive again, ready to build a future where trust, once earned, would be protected and cherished, never again taken for granted. Asterisk.